we come before you today to discuss important matters, we ask for your guidance and wisdom. You are the source of all knowledge and understanding. Therefore, we seek your direction in our decision-making process. Help us to listen attentively to one another with open hearts and minds.
I'd like to say the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to the Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
You may be seated. We have a forum today. We have myself, Kenneth, Deborah, and of course we have Corey on the end of it. I want to go ahead and do citizen comments, and I want to start off with an open forum. And this is the time for anyone to address the Planning and Zoning Commission on any topic that is not already listed on the agenda for a public hearing. Public comments are limited to 3 minutes out of respect for the time for other citizens. On topics raised during the open forum, please know that the Planning and Zoning Commission is not permitted to respond to your comments during the meeting per Texas Open Meetings Act. So at this time, I'd like to open the forum to any public.
Can you use a microphone, please? Thank you.
Yeah, that's yes. So can you hear me now? Do I need to reread it? You're good? All right. Do I need to reread it? You want to hear it again?
A little bit louder.
Huh?
She does. She says she can hear you.
Okay. So the open forum, at this time, for anyone to address the Planning and Zoning Commission on any topic.
Click the red button on the bottom.
Yeah.
There you go, there you go.
There you go, it's green. All right, there you go. At this time, for anyone to address the Planning and Zoning Commission on any topic that is not already listed on the agenda for a public hearing, public comments are limited to only 3 minutes out of respect for the time for other citizens. On the topics raised during the open forum, please know that the Planning and Zoning Commission is not permitted to respond to your comments during the meeting per Texas Open Meetings Act. So at this time, the floor is open to any public comment. Okay, at this time, I'm going to close the public forum. The next part on our agenda is approving the minutes for the February 4th, 2026 Planning and Zoning Commission. Deborah's made a motion to approve. Corey, second. All in favor? Aye. Next, number 3 is the public hearing items. This is a time for anyone to speak concerning their issues with a public hearing case. If you would like to speak regarding an item listed in this section, please submit your name and address to the staff. And the Planning and Zoning Commission Chairman, which is I, will call upon you to come forward at the proper time and will ask anyone in the audience who would like to speak. Please limit all your comments to 3 minutes out of respect for the time of other citizens. I understand nobody signed up their name, so when you come up to speak, if you need to speak, please give your name and address so that you can be able to take notes on this. So at this time, I would like to open up A. A is hold a public hearing to discuss and consider a request by Arovest Holdings LLC for the approval of a zoning change from R1 single-family residential to R2 multifamily for a 19.94 acre tract of land located at the 500 block of Goliad Road. A 0001-02 S&J Arocha Sir Bump TR Track 2A and 3 and take necessary action. At this time, I'll open up to the public. Yes, ma'am.
Can I speak from here, or do I have to go up there?
Can you please stand up there, right there? Yes, ma'am. And just give your name and address.
Sure. I can look. Okay. I don't know how to do this.
I didn't
Turn
either.
it on
Push this
green.
little blue button, and then I'll turn green.
Hi, good afternoon. My name is Valerie Molina. I'm a resident of the North Crest Residential Subdivision. 116 Ridgecrest is my street address. My concerns regarding the proposed rezoning is that the proposed multifamily zoning is inconsistent with the existing single-family character of the neighborhood. It creates a sharp transition in density without appropriate buffering. For example, no gradual step down in zoning. The change may set a precedent for further incompatible rezoning in the area. Additionally, multifamily development, sorry, I'm a little nervous because I'm not a fan of public speaking, but multifamily development will also significantly increase traffic volume on streets designed for low-density residential use. It raises questions about pedestrian safety, especially for our children, cyclists, and school routes. Existing intersections and roadways may lack capacity to handle higher density volume. Current infrastructure, such as water, sewage, and drainage, may also be insufficient for higher density development. Increased demand could strain emergency services, police, fire, EMS, and response times, including areas of the school may experience overcrowding, which we've currently seen with the recent Floresville Independent School District. Property values and neighborhood stability. A sudden change in zoning may negatively impact property values or perceived desirability. Residents invested in a single-family area may face uncertainty and reduced instability. The proposal may conflict with the city's comprehensive plan or future land use map. So I think good planning requires orderly growth, but that does not include abrupt zoning changes in residential areas. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, sir. Yes, sir, go ahead.
My name is Greg Hendricks, 118 Crestway here in Floresville. I'm not an original resident. I moved down from up north. When I first came here, about 18 years ago, I couldn't find a place to rent while I was looking for a house. And the reason was, Floresville, Vernia, all these places, including San Antonio, have low-income housing. And I didn't qualify. I could not find an apartment to rent. And what I'm afraid is what's gonna happen here is the developers are gonna take this 30-odd acres and try to jam as many people into that 30 acres as they can for the money. Just look at the golf course, how jammed that is. You can't even hardly drive down the street there with the cars parked. It's a mess. And the same thing's gonna happen over there, but worse because it's multi-family housing, not single-family housing, why most of these people moved out to where we're at. So I think, we're not looking at the road. Matter of fact, I don't even see a diagram what it's supposed to look like. Where's that? I mean, if we're gonna talk about it, you think you would have a diagram out here. Show us exactly. I have no clue what you're gonna do. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
This is for the planning and development staff. Is the developer here today?
He's on his way.
He's on his way.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Could we wait for the developer?
Can't even be here for a meeting?
Could we wait for the developer to address him?
Maybe he's got some diagrams, something to look at. This is crazy.
I mean, I would like to see that as well.
Then reschedule the meeting if you can't make it here.
Okay. Yeah, I was gonna
Are we
say,
still doing the public hearing?
you still have a
Talk about
public
the
hearing.
item?
Yeah, can you continue? Go ahead, sir.
Good evening, citizens and members. Good evening, citizens and and members of the Floresville Planning and Zoning Commission. My name is Samuel Martinez. My family and I reside at 116 North First Street, and I have been a Floresville resident since 2011. I'm here tonight to respectfully oppose the proposed multi-zoning due to concerns about our community's infrastructure and public safety. First, our current infrastructure, including roadways and sewer systems, is already under significant strain. The roadways in the area were not constructed to accommodate the increased traffic associated with the higher density housing. In my neighboring community of Riverbend, I have observed this density housing increase delays, roadway wear and tear, and elevate the risk of traffic accidents. Increased traffic poses a danger to our residents. We are an active, healthy, health-conscious community. Our residents, including elderly and children, often walk and run on the streets because we lack sidewalks. Second, our utilities and drainage systems currently are not designed to support this level of expansion. Increased demand of water, sewage, storm water management heightens the risk of flooding, backups, and service interruptions, especially during heavy rainfalls, which we already. Is that the developer?
Yes.
These concerns are not hypothetical. They represent tangible risks that directly impact resident safety and property. Finally, as a property crimes detective with the local police department, I believe that public safety must remain a priority. Increased housing density, if not accompanied by adequate planning, staffing, and resources, can place additional strain on law enforcement and emergency services. I have personally witnessed the effects of high-density housing on crime rates in various communities in San Antonio. Community growth should not compromise the safety and quality of our current residents. I'm not opposed to development. However, it must be responsible, measured, and supported by sufficient infrastructure. Currently, I do not believe the necessary foundation exists. If you would allow me to share some personal experiences. So prior to the purchase of the land on Lodi, we had a cut across to First Street. So individuals would cut across using First Street to gain access to Fourth Street to avoid Peach Street and Fourth Street traffic. During that time, we had incidents where people would just drive crazy. We've had increase in burglaries, increase in thefts. Since that purchase occurred, that no longer is an issue, okay? But because of the speeding, it posed a traffic hazard to our children. Also, I've had my vehicle stolen from my property during that time. I've been involved in an incident where I was in a struggle with a suspected car burglar in our neighborhood, and he had a firearm. And luckily enough, with the support of my neighbors and the police department, we were able to apprehend this subject. Based on my observations and prior experiences, I believe that our community should pose this proposition. That's why I'm concerned. I'm concerned about traffic. I'm concerned about the crime rate. I'm concerned about government housing, low income housing. I support it. However, it needs to be positioned in an area where it's not hidden in the back. Okay?
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you for your time. Yes, sir, go ahead.
I'm Matthew Mendoza, 116 Ridgecrest, and I also oppose this rezoning for a multi-family unit area. We've seen the crime grow up in just the urban area with break-ins and just a whole bunch of different kind of crime happening. And as a new resident to Floresville, we've been here 4 years now. We've moved from San Antonio to get away from the crime, and it seems like the crime is more rampant now than ever. I'm from a small town down south, and moving over here, I thought, man, we'd have a better shot at living in a neighborhood where it's less crime, and of course, you're just seeing more crime. This district is being rezoned for a multifamily when you have an area where there's nothing but single-family homes. So, of course, you're gonna see an increase in crime, traffic, burglaries, theft, and that's why I'm opposing this as well. I think this is the wrong decision for Floresville. This is not something that's gonna benefit the city of Floresville, but it's gonna hurt the residents of Floresville. I think that there's other ways to develop, other areas to develop, outside of the single-family unit area, so that's why I oppose this as well.
Thank you, sir. Yeah, go ahead, sir.
I'm not as good a speaker as the rest of these people, but I step out my front door and that's what I'm looking at, is that property. I'm 1012 West Crest, which my front door stares at that whole beautiful property.
Sir, can you state your name?
Paul Weedy.
Okay, thank you.
And, I'm concerned about the traffic. It's scary as heck trying to get out on 181 from the neighborhood. But other than that, wildlife, there's a lot of wildlife that passes through there all the time. That'll all be gone. Huh? The school, yeah, there's not, in the school, apparently I can't handle it very well, but, it'd be nice to know what they're planning on doing, but, like I said, I'm gonna be staring at, I don't know what, out my front porch now. That's all I got, I guess. I'm very against it, obviously. Oh, in 2021, my brother wanted to move onto my property, it's 7 acres. And, we were told that we had to get approval from the 7 or the 6 neighbors around the property, and that didn't happen because somebody didn't approve. I hope that would be the case here also. Thank you.
Thank you. Go ahead.
Hi, I'm Leslie Labe. I live at 117 North First Street. We moved here in 2020 to get away from San Antonio, get away from the apartments, get away from all that. We wanted to raise our kids in the country environment. We love going on walks in the neighborhood and seeing the cows and the deer and everything. I teach at Floresville South Elementary, and our classrooms are overcrowded. We don't have enough rooms, we don't have furniture. My kids stopped riding the school bus that comes into Northcrest because there's 3-4 kids to a seat. So honestly, I'm very scared if it's apartments, whatever it is, plus the Chevy dealership across from there, all those houses, we're not gonna be able to serve these kids. And it's scary. Thank you.
Thank you. We have any more public comment? Would the developer like to speak? Go ahead.
Good evening, everybody. Sorry we were a little bit late. Gabriel and Donnie with the Mr. Management. We're the owner. Oh, is that better?
Is it on?
Is that better?
Yes.
Sorry about that. Good evening. Sorry for barging in a little late. We hit a little bit of traffic. Gabriel and Donnie, we're the MSG Management. My family owns the land that we're asking for the rezoning. Hopefully this addresses the primary concern. The reason that we were asking for a rezoning, it's a single family development. We just need 50-foot lot width. The R1 zoning right now allows 70-foot. The 50-foot is really what we're seeing kind of the home builders geared towards. So we talked to city staff and we came up with the best solution, given a plan to address this. I got a lot of y'all's concerns about traffic, which I'm hearing, infrastructure, were brought up from kind of the preliminary versions of it. We right now own and I apologize, I should have brought a map really, but if you look at an aerial view of Northcrest and Collier Street, we're the one parcel that a public right-of-way right now can cut through to Collier Street. We, right now, I do sense that big development, there's a lot of traffic concerns, given that there's only one exit to 181 business. This will hopefully allow the spread of the existing neighborhood to kind of go into Goliath Street as well. We are working with the city staff to obviously have the infrastructure in place to not only supplement us, but to hopefully increase the property values of properties nearby so they can develop as well. But basically it's a single family development that we're trying to accomplish. We just want the zoning for the lot list to be able to have somebody develop.
you're asking for is the lots are currently at 75 feet.
I believe the zoning, the R1 zoning is 70 foot right
So
now.
the R zone, the R1 zoning right now is 75 foot in the front and 100 feet deep. What he's proposing is going, R2 offers the 50-foot frontage, is what it offers.
So the lots are gonna be smaller.
Yes, they're gonna be smaller.
It's a 50 foot by, I believe, 125 foot.
Yes, 125 for a total of 6250 square feet. Right now, if you look into Riverbend or Lodi Grove, they're not even that close. They're probably at the highest 5,600 square feet for the lot. So there isn't any multifamily. The reason we chose this zone was to not have to go through like a PUD zoning. And our ordinance right now for R2 is to go just a smaller lot size. That's why he proposed the R2.
I have a question, for development staff and the developer. There's a reason the city of Floresville zoned this as R1 for single family. So my question to you is, you knew that when you bought the property?
Correction, actually, it's not even zoned.
I think it was recently annexed.
It's recently annexed,
Correct.
yes. If you look in there's a map there on your packet, the one that's kind of pinkish, yeah, it's not zoned.
So when it got zoned, it went annexed. It defaults after 60 days of not changing the zone. It defaults to R1, which is the most strict zoning that we have. Because there wasn't any zoning. So if you look at our comprehensive plan, it doesn't state anything for annexed areas or anything like that. So that's why there's not like a flu amendment with it, because of that reason. So does it fall in the category? Yes and no, because it doesn't have it on there, because it was annexed in.
So my question to the developer then would be, rather than doing high-density housing, have you considered doing single-family homes in this area, in these lots?
Correct. Yeah, we worked with the numbers of the current zoning. It doesn't, again, we're the developers, we're not home builders. Our client, or who we sell the property to when we get entitlements and build the houses are typically what they do. Home builders, a property this size, it doesn't work out with their numbers. So we will not, the project basically, it dies if we don't get a zoning. They won't be able to work that. We just, I mean, again, we don't control kind of that aspect of the client's market, that is the trend that they're moving towards. I mean, you guys have seen it with the golf course here. What we're trying to do is accommodate that same product of house, basically, in a bigger lot. That way, instead of doing the 5-foot setbacks where everything feels kind of tight, it's kind of respecting the current community next to it, where there's 20 feet between houses, 10-foot side setbacks on each lot.
What studies have you done to know whether or not you would be able to fill this number? I mean, what are we looking at as far as number of apartments?
It's not apartment.
I think we are looking, it's not apartments, it's single family homes. I mean, the R2 zoning grants multi-uses,
Are you
but
selling lots or are you selling homes?
we're selling basically paper lots. So like it's the plat.
So if somebody wanted to come in and build a multi-family home, they could.
Well, not necessarily, because we right now with our zoning case submitted to the city, like a master plan and USA request for utilities. So like the density and like the permission I'm getting from city staff is for a specific number of units to the layout of single family. I'm committed to, I mean, even by saying like 1 unit per lot, per platted lot, again, I don't wanna, I'm trying to be transparent with y'all.
I appreciate it. I'm just looking at other people. So you're saying one unit, is that gonna be in the deed where you have deed restrictions?
We would have an HOA and they would have deed restrictions as far as the building, but also the next step after zoning is I have to go, it's a 2-phase development right now based on the size of it. I have to get a master plan approved through development services for the UDC, and then we would move into plat, right? whenever I'm moving into plating, and all the approvals will be hinged on that density. So I'm basically submitting my master plan. At the end of the day, I'm gonna have this number of densities, this number of lots, one house per lot, and this is what the lot lines are gonna look like. If for whatever reason anybody tries to like get more density out of that parcel, the approvals that I have in there would be void. So, I mean, we're at the very beginning of the process. There's a lot to happen, but the zoning is obviously the first thing that we need to make sure. Again, our primary concern is the lot width. We just found that the 70-foot lot does not work with any buyers.
Just,
It's not clear. To me, it's not clear,
May I
but
address the name? Of course.
yes, go, of course.
Hi, my name is Victor Andoni. I'm the developer. I think there's a lot of confusion on what we're trying to do with the zoning change. The way the announcement was published, and it's because of I guess the R2. The R2 allows for multifamily. We're not building multifamily, and we are amenable, we've discussed this with Development Services, to deed restrict the parcel to be single family by deed. So no multifamily will be built. That we are going through the request of asking for the R2 because of the frontage. We just want 50-foot lots by 125, which are bigger than other developments here in area. And the R2 is what allows that. But we discussed with Development Services that we will, together with the granting of the zoning, we will deed restrict so that there's no multifamily. I know the signage that's been posted, it talks about multifamily, but it's not multifamily, it's single family. Now, the other thing, and I think my son has mentioned it, is Goliath, it's a totally underutilized street. It goes nowhere. It's really just a few houses access it. So by connecting 181 through Crestview to Goliath, we will actually be providing a road into downtown that is less crowded, less trafficked than 181, and easier and safer and more direct.
And diverting the traffic of the existing community to give them an option. If somebody wants to go downtown, they don't have to cross all those existing streets to 181. But sooner or later, I mean, that's a TxDOT road. TxDOT's gonna come to the city and say, hey, there might be a need for a diesel lane because now this is something that can provide an outlet.
I think what they're concerned about right now is not so much, you've answered the question about multifamily, but I think even by making those lots smaller, which I'm hearing them all say that here right now, City of Floresville proper, the people that keep talking, they're not happy with the way these other developments, they have made them smaller. Yes, there's Lennar and whoever else is coming in, but people are buying the golf course, but those same people are very upset right now because they can't park, they can't drive in and out, they can't do a lot of different things that they thought they could. The street widths and that are very minimal, and that was done before our board was set up. So we're using that tool as something that that's getting putting on us, that we're trying to, be forthright with y'all that, okay, so by allowing y'all to say, okay, right out front again, you're gonna start making them smaller, it just doesn't sit well with anybody because that's the first thing everybody hears.
We're here for a zoning change. Obviously, whatever MDP we propose is gonna be looked at by Development Services, and that is the opportunity that the city has to opine on the width and according to UDC code, and we're here just for a zoning change.
And I guess those other developments, weren't they a PUD, right?
Yes.
So I mean, I think there were deals done with utilities versus density and stuff like that. My purpose of granting a base zoning district, I know it's not applied, is to kind of avoid the PUD scenario where we're grandfathered into this lot count. I'm still playing by the rules of the UC and handling that permitted apart. I felt like that would be more comfortable for both parties, of city and development.
And what's been already mentioned, I just want to reemphasize that, is you mentioned smaller lots. but this is actually larger than some of the current developments that, in area. I mean, I mean, you got developments here in the 5,000 square foot lots, and these are gonna be 60 to 50, so these are larger lots.
Yes, you're talking about the square footage, right?
Yes.
But you're not talking the width, and that's the difference that most people see when they drive up to a house. How many cars they park in front of their homes, you know, I mean,
Well,
today,
you'll still be able to fit the two-car garage,
I-
and,
but shutting it down 25 feet is,
well, the setbacks are.
25 feet. So the
Yes.
R1 and R2 zoning, and this is kind of why I thought the R2 change would have been amenable.
Yes.
The setbacks, I believe they're the same, R1 and R2. It even says at the beginning of R2, basically, anything granted on R1 is granted on R2. The
It's-
only,
it's just the width.
it's
difference.
literally the width, just because that, like, I mean, it's at the end of the day, it's 40 acres, right?
Yes.
Like, I really wish I could tell you it's gonna be, like, the $1 million home builder is the only one that's gonna come in here, but that's not what we, like,
It's not the market.
that's not well, we don't know that yet, we just know the kind of like, in this market, they go for this size lot. It could be this person or this person. I really want this to be a great piece of the community, just like the neighborhood next to us, but I just can't make those roads. We need to.
Are the lots in Northcrest the same?
No, sir, my lot is over 10,000 square feet, and my property values reflect the value of having a large property size. So to be buffered up against a multi-use, smaller single family, this would significantly depreciate the value of my home.
That's,
Is this low-income housing?
no, sir.
None.
No, it's market rate. It's not subsidized housing. It's not
I
subsidized
mean,
housing.
that property would be the comp.
And if you're the developer, why don't you bring something that we can look at? We have no clue what you're looking at.
Sir, this is a zoning, planning.
This is the zoning, this is the beginning
There'll
stage.
there'll be subsequent hearings when the MDP, when the master development plan is presented to the city.
And multiple.
In order for us
Is that
to.
before or after the decision to allow these lot sizes?
I mean, again, if we're approved on the zoning, that doesn't mean the development's gonna happen. The zoning is gonna lay the foundation for us to be able to come to the city and say, this is what we can do with the zoning. And there'll be other public hearings, the master development plan is gonna be exposed to everybody will get a chance to critique it. And there'll be, we'll go through the same process. This is strictly a zoning hearing.
Yes.
So it's not, we're not approving anything here.
But with the rezoning, there's no guarantee that there would be any change. Right now, they purchased a property that they can't do anything with or their intention with because they missed the deadline as a homeowner.
What
Why would-
deadline, I'm sorry.
The deadline for changing it from the annex, they said that there was a period of conversion and it was
We
not.
bought it
in place.
operated like.
Which is why it became a default that you got restricted to this limited rezoning. He
So
doesn't
with that being
articulate
said, with the 60 days, that was when it annexed in the city. They had 60 days to change
Who did?
the city. When they annexed it in, that portion, they had 60 days to change it themselves to a zoning that they felt proper. After 60 days, it just defaults to
So
the.
what was the timeline between the new purchase and the rezoning?
No, for that, there wasn't there wait, this got annexed in back in 2018, 19.
So it's been sitting in this status.
It's been sitting as a default R1 because no one's changed it.
Which has been, that's a common standard thing that happens.
It's, right, that's the default.
That is the default.
And what they're proposing, let me just kind of clarify for everybody, because it certainly makes a lot more sense to me now. You went with R2 because you're wanting to ask for the smaller lot size, which is covered under R2, but you are not building multifamily housing. Okay, so that's very reassuring.
Yeah, the R2 allows for multifamily, what we discussed with development services, we want the R2 so that we can do the 50-foot lots, and we will deed restrict the whole 40 acres to single family.
Or-
So that no multifamily.
Or if council feels, more at ease, we are fine with the R1 as long as we get that variance for the 50-foot lot.
So the actual details of the development itself will still have to come back through us again as you develop the streets and the lot sizes.
Correct.
So what I suggest is, taking action on these three items contingent upon further approval based on street width and other concerns that, the public has brought forward.
We will have to go and follow the UDC code, we will.
So they still have to, like he said, they still have to present the master development plan. We still have to make sure that our infrastructure can support the units that they want to have at that subdivision. We have to make sure that it's feasible for the thoroughfare through that subdivision as well. And then, before it even gets platted, before we bring this back to city, to P and Z, with the public hearing, we need to make sure everything is checked off,
And so could the public have input on that process as well?
With the planning process, yes. When we bring it to the plat and we do a public hearing, yes. Yes.
So he mentioned selling the paper, that as a developer, they basically act as a middleman. They purchase, they sell at a profit to someone who's facilitating the development. While they're saying
That's not
the
correct.
restriction, your son said that.
I'm sorry, it's not that we're flipping the land, we need to entitle it, we need to get it through the master development process, we're not the home builder.
Understood.
What's the loss,
Understood. He
what's
said
the
we're not
loss
the
of
builder, we sell the paper, is what he said.
We basically, we
Is what he
sell,
said.
yeah, they'll come in, whoever buys it comes in and builds
Right,
the
so
street
to
and then
me,
builds the houses.
my background and experience is in risk management, and to me, that is a risk we take because there's no guarantee for the citizens and people of Floresville.
What guarantee we need?
Well, that everything would be materialized according to a single family using an R2 zoning. I get their intention and why they're saying, but it becomes a loophole, and we become the collateral damage in that loophole.
I think you're mistaken, and let me clarify that.
No, sir, I understand very
Well,
clearly. I understand
Let
clearly.
him, and he has the floor, go ahead.
The way the process works is, we gotta have zoning before we can do anything. If we don't have, we need to know what the right zoning is so that we can plan, what the parcel can do with that zoning. Okay, so we're intention right now is to build, to have 50-foot lot,
That's your only intention, correct?
Right now,
So
it's
we
the only
should be,
intention.
so let me just stop you there. So right now, instead of asking for, I understand that the city talked to you about going to the R2 on this. But what we should be doing is asking an amendment to R1, that you only change that. So then it would end all this, and then we could be making a decision about, are people happy with a 50-foot lot versus 70, what are they?
Yeah, there were
75?
two ways to go about it. Keep it R1 and ask for a variance for 50-foot lots. Or
Yeah.
change it to R2, which allows the 50-foot lots and restrict it to single family. So I mean, at the end of the day, it's the same. So at the end of the day, it's the same.
I would say do the amendment, because let's say we change it, it doesn't matter what we say, the city council changes it.
That's right.
Because we don't count.
Right.
So if these guys sell it the next day after it's sold, who knows what's gonna happen? We've got every good intention to do
Yes.
it and to develop it, but let's say you sell it, and now the next guy has no intention of doing it.
But
So
even if we,
just did the amendment, then we can still say R1 with the.
That's right.
And that
Even if-
limits it to single family.
even if the committee recommends the zoning change of the variance, either way, and the city council approves it, and we sell it the next day, all we accomplish is we sold a piece of property with a different zoning or with a different.
That's right, and that's,
And that's it. Whoever comes next is gonna have to come again through the same process that we are willing to follow and say, hey, city, what can we do with this zoning? Can we do this?
That's right.
Is the capacity for the utilities there? Is the
Yes.
water and the sewer and the
Yes.
streets and the electricity, is it there?
yes.
And we're gonna have to go through the same process, we're gonna have to have public hearings, people are gonna get to raise their concerns, and whoever is on the committee that looks into that is gonna raise all the questions we're asking right now, beyond zoning, and then city council is, assuming we cross that hurdle, then we're gonna have to go to city council again for the approval.
But
I mean, this
accuracy-
is so early in the process, that all we're asking is
Yes.
a zoning change or a zoning variance.
Yes, that's,
Understood, but accuracy matters, and a class amendment is different than rezoning to an entirely different class for multi-use that you can't even guarantee the future population
I-
and
but
insurance.
even-
I think that if we understand what you're saying. I mean, the amendment, the process that we're trying to help you with would be a lot easier if you came back with an amendment, and we wouldn't have, then we could talk to people about how much traffic is gonna be going there, because all you're gonna do is add 50-foot lots. You can do the calculation, 4 people live in one house per how many, then you could come back and you'll be able to settle any kind of people's, worries about how much traffic's gonna be there versus, I wanna see you succeed.
We're
And I see
fine,
right now.
either way works for us. I mean, all we wanna be able to
I hear
achieve
you.
is the ability to present
I
a
hear
future
you.
development that has single-family homes that are 50-foot wide lots.
And,
Yes, sir.
and your city staff will tell you, I mean, I basically showed up with that plan in hand and asked what would be more feasible to you guys to have this happen. a variance.
Can I ask Jacob here?
So with that, there couldn't be an amendment to the R1, we'd have to go a different route. That's why you went to the R2, which was already in our ordinance for those sizes.
But it
Above
opens-
that, if you're trying to avoid that, you could, he could apply for a PUD where we can put, those kind of recommendations during that time. That's what a PUD would be for. A lot of these PUDs that have passed, they passed for smaller lot sizes. That was that preference for that project. So each project is different for each PUD that's getting applied for. So you could ask for those things and we could try to put those on and bring a PUD as an application.
we
Like
can
we're
do
doing
it
now, do
with
not
a
over
variant.
again, but ask for a PUD, and it would be for a certain lot size, and that would be it. So whatever lot size they wanna do now, they could put that in a PUD, and it'd be up to you to approve or recommend. And all of this would be out of there.
That sounds-
All of the R2 things like that, so there's really not a variance we could do either.
So that's what I was gonna ask the variance, because I did see in the zoning request that it had a little checkbox for variance.
Yeah,
So would
and-
that be enough?
So that application is for multiple things, either a variance or a zoning change.
Well, I guess wouldn't that be easier than the PUD, right, for everybody?
Well, you
Would be a
couldn't do it-
variance on the lot
Were
width?
we thinking of an
There's no
amendment?
hardship for your lot size. The hardship would be not enough money, right? So that's not a real hardship. You need a real hardship by saying this lot was done back in the 1900s before the city had restrictions or setbacks.
Yeah.
And I can never build anything like that size because I'll never meet the setbacks because my lot is too small. So a PUD would be the best thing to do.
But not amendment to,
No, whatever's on here is what we have. You can add something on there or amend anything.
no, okay, so y'all can't come back and do.
If you wanted to do something more specific for this project, for that, it would be a PUD, so that we can add those things in there, and it's just specific for him, right? So, we do know what you're talking about as far as if you were to change the zone today, tomorrow they can sell, and now it's a multifamily, and then it
That's what
becomes-
these,
I get it.
I get it. That's what they're all
I mean,
concerned about.
our intention and the purpose that we submitted the master plan along with the zoning request to y'all is to show you, like, this is what.
This is,
what.
I see you have good intentions, but unfortunately with what is gonna be written is
Correct.
gonna be,
Correct.
And it is scary, I do understand that, even though that's not their intentions to have.
No, and I can
People
see
could
that
have-
y'all-
They could go bankrupt tomorrow and have to sell their place.
And we talked about this with commercial
It
property.
could-
yeah, it's happened to us with
But
commercial.
they are, I mean, if the zoning gets approved, the deed restriction will be simultaneous. We'll rezone to R2 with a deed restriction that it only be, single family. I mean, so you don't, I don't know why there's a perceived risk that we're gonna rezone it, we go bankrupt, then somebody takes over it and comes in
Also-
and builds a multifamily. That's, we're saying, we have the mechanism so that the multifamily never happens. I mean, we're requesting a zoning change for the deed restriction.
We're the sheep in wolf's clothing. They're the developer, they obviously have something to gain, which is not bad, right?
No.
They're a consumer and capitalist,
Yes.
I understand. But as somebody who deals with policy and regulation, language matters, what's in the contract matters. There's
Yes.
no guarantee. So if there's an option for you to come and bring the facts to the table with what your amendment you're needing, start there. Come with the guidelines that protect us from multifamily. Rezoning doesn't help us.
No,
Now, if
it's,
there's
we
an
understand.
option, he can complete what he needs to complete, bring it back to the table, and secures it as a single family, and then you can address anything
We're-
after that point.
Yeah.
And that's been discussed with development services. We
Yeah.
discussed it yesterday with the city manager, say, hey, it's single family.
Right, but you're trying to move it to deed restricted, and I'm trying to say, don't put the cart before the horse. Bring your facts to the table, and then we'll talk.
No,
No,
they are doing it right.
They
They
are
really
doing it
are.
right.
They're doing it right. They've already been in discussions back and forth with the
Let
city.
me
but
start the
he
amendment
has-
for rezoning, sir.
Yes, he has the floor currently right now. So, yeah, go ahead.
So, talking about the deed restrictions, and yes, deed restrictions are really tough to change, except in the case where, more than 51% of the property is owned by a single individual, which would be the case for y'all until you start selling lots, right? And so, if something happened,
We own with the, you own 100%, I mean,
Yes.
more or less.
But, the party, agreeing to the deed restriction is the owner.
what I'm getting at is, if something happened, God forbid that it does, but you all decide you have to sell, you're not able to do this project, and you sell it to another developer. That developer now owns all of those
I'm
tracts.
sorry, but, the deed restriction runs with the land, not with the entity.
But deed restrictions can be changed. Deed restrictions can be changed.
By approval of.
51%.
51%.
No, I can't, unilaterally change the deed restrictions on the property that, concerning zoning or deed restrictions.
You can, and it has been done.
It's happened. There was a development, this is 20-some years ago, there was a development here in Floresville that was 5-acre minimum site-built homes. They had trouble selling. They struggled for several years, and they finally went back and changed the deed restrictions because they still own 75% of the land. And they changed it to 1-acre home sites and allowed manufactured housing. And
But that requires a different zoning. I mean, our 5, I think it's 5,000, or the 5-acre. My understanding, and, you're saying I'm wrong, my understanding is that a deed restriction runs with the land, not with the party that owns it.
And we have seen cases that like, HEB will buy a land, be restricted just so like a Walmart, and then tell the
They
land.
do that all the time. They buy property where they don't want Walmart to come in, and they buy it, deed restricted, and sell it. If Walmart could come in and deed restrict, change it, then it will be mute, but Walmart cannot do that because it's deed restricted. It runs with the land, not with the owner. I mean, maybe that's a question for the city attorney, but, that's my understanding.
it would be incumbent on the city, I guess, to maintain that.
From what I understand, Northcrest is a Primex, Northcrest Hills, Unit 2. When they developed that subdivision, they did have deed restrictions in there. They do, and it's very clear on what they are. But I remember reading in those deed restrictions saying that you have to have a percentage of the people who will live there to
Property owners.
yes.
Mhm.
So the city really doesn't have,
Right, and that's where I'm saying it can
any
be
legal
changed.
stand on that,
It can
yes.
be changed.
It happened in the subdivision I did. We were all supposed to be 100% masonry, and then towards the end, they couldn't keep selling lots, and so people started switching over to a hardy plank and saying that hardy plank is masonry, and there wasn't enough people to confirm that couldn't be. And so, and it's not to say that that's the end of the world, but we're trying to help you to get this, resolved, because we believe you want, and I think the main problem right now I was hearing is the width of these lots and how much congestion is gonna come in there. And I understand, y'all are gonna try to, you need to sell it to the right, people, so that homes can be built in there, but,
Well, I'm just trying to understand, we started with the city with the PUD, and then we explored, they said, well, go, and then said, well, let's go the variance route. And we looked at that, and then we decided that the best route is the one we're following right now, on R2 with the restrictions. We're happy to present it the way you wanna see it, but at the end of the day, it's the same product that we wanna build. So, if you want us to come back with a PUD, I guess we can. If you want us to come back with a variance, I guess we can. At the end of the day, it's the same development that we wanna build. mean, we're just following what development services, what we discussed with them, or what they recommended, we discussed it with the city manager as well, and that's why we're here.
So I can tell you this, Jacob and I can both tell you this. Northcrest, Riverbend, those are our two newest subdivisions in the city of Floresville. Oh, that's now Lodi Grove. Those two have way different, obviously, lot sizes than what's in our ordinance. If you look at our old neighborhoods, they're huge, 75, maybe even 100 feet in the frontage.
Yes.
But maybe 200 feet depth. But all these new subdivisions that came to the city of Floresville did come with an agreement, with
Like a PUD agreement? or
yes,
anything
like
that?
either a flood agreement or some kind of agreement with the
Developer
city,
agreement,
a
yeah.
developer agreement saying whatever that needs to be supporting that subdivision. With Northcrest, not all the lots are 75 by 100. There are some that are small, and there's some that are big, okay? Obviously, we all know about the golf course, and now we have Lodi Grove. Apparently, that's the trend right now with subdivisions. You see it in San Antonio, you see it even in our Lavernia. That's what's happening in Lavernia as well. But that's what's happening with the latest subdivisions, is they all have agreements with the city of Floresville on whether we can do the infrastructure, lot sizes, roads, parks, whatever's involved in it. But there is an agreement with the developer and the city of Floresville.
There is a section on Northcrest that has that alley towards the back, closer to our development. The lots that we're proposing are bigger than those lots that are currently in place.
And I'll even read this from the restrictions from the North Hill, Crest Hills subdivision. So for single-family residences for lots 1 through 76, each main residence shall contain at least 1,200 square feet of living area, exclusive of porches and garage. No more than one residence shall be permitted on any lot in said subdivision. Another one shows, unless otherwise stated on the subdivision plat, each building shall be set back at least 25 feet from the property line, fronting on any road, and at least 5 feet from any side lot line if the adjoining lot is not under common ownership. So right there tells you what those are at. Also, these are deed restrictions.
And
They don't have an HOA to enforce those deed restrictions.
Right.
That's why where you live, there isn't.
we are gonna have,
There's no HOA to control. We can't control the deed restrictions, but the HOA does.
Are y'all gonna have a
and
mandatory?
we are, because we're proposing a detention pond, which is gonna be maintained by the HOA. Same with open channels. Branching off what Jacob said, Northcrest has 5-foot, height separations. We're asking for what the zoning currently has, which is 10 foot. So I mean, I really,
Adjacent lots are smaller.
well, and you have your neighbor, if you're thinking about density, you're able to be closer house to house on Northcrest than what we're proposing. We're proposing double that distance that they currently have.
10 feet.
Well, 10 on each lot, but that's a 20-foot separation,
20 foot.
which is what the code says.
Make a motion to approve A, B, and C, changing from R1 single-family residential to R2 multifamily for the various tracts, with the understanding that they are building single-family homes, and the exception is the size of the lot. And to reiterate to everybody here, they still have to come back to the city with their plan, their master plan, and all those things are gonna be looked at, public safety, road width, public utilities.
Correct.
And you all will have an opportunity to speak on those issues as well.
And with these smaller lot sizes, what is the impact to North?
Ma'am, I'm sorry, there's a motion currently.
I'm not gonna.
I'm sorry, but I'm not gonna second it either. So,
The motion dies.
the motion dies.
No motion dies.
I'm sorry. At this time, if the paperwork says exactly what you're gonna be doing, then that's gonna help us to see this.
What is your recommendation that we come back with a PUD, or what?
That it says exactly what that the only thing that's gonna change is it's the lot size. Everything else is
The
gonna
way
stay the
she
same.
presented the motion?
Yes, sir.
Okay, what do we need to change,
You could just reapply again, it says go to council as well.
I guess,
So,
How does that work?
at
Can
the end
we edit it before we go to?
If you don't wanna go to council, you can always request to not go to.
But I guess you made a motion with knowing that it's single family and the lot width being the only one, if that what gets approved, wouldn't that?
If that
be
gets
for
approved.
She made it under the assumption that that's just what's gonna happen, she's not adding that into the motion.
excuse me, sir, are you saying that if we word it correctly, you would second it?
Yeah, but that, you would have to come back again and put that in front of us.
Okay.
Because at that point, I mean, we're all here, we understand widths and we understand the lots and that, and then also too, at that point, your neighbors who, you're gonna be your neighbors here, they're gonna wanna help your stuff sell, you know, it's gonna change the life of everybody, but they're gonna at least know too, okay, we know 100 homes are gonna come in here but not, 400 because it's multi, and I understand what you're saying, but the way it's reading right now, it's.
And we discussed that, because when we saw the signs that were put out, we said the first word that comes out is multifamily, say, hey, we're not asking for multifamily.
I know.
And we discussed that with development services. And there's, well, why does the sign read that? And it's just the way, Okay, I mean, we'll come back and put the correct word.
So we wanna make it clear that the motion dies.
The motion dies.
There is in May 28th is for council to also approve this, or,
I guess.
do you want us
Is
to?
there an opportunity to amend the language and take it to council with the tacit?
That is something, we're gonna have to take it to our legal.
That would be the greatest thing, instead of trying to still keep pushing this. When you push stuff through past us, you are more welcome to go to city council. And they could probably vote this yes if they wanted to, because it's a whole new set, but we represent the people, and what you're hearing, we want you to be successful.
I understand, and we're just trying to understand.
Yes, sir.
The process, I mean, we're not trying to.
No, I know you're not trying to
I
circumvent.
agree with your concerns, we're willing to follow your recommendations. My question is, can we expedite the process by correcting the language so that when it gets to city council, they read the correct language with the tacit understanding that once it's corrected, it will get seconded?
And if we need to have a special meeting, I'm gonna speak for all three of us, but we would come in and do a special meeting to confirm that that's what you
We
want.
can amend the language this week.
Well, the main thing is, you're just recommending, right, so.
We're just recommending.
It would go to council still. If you wanna add that verbiage in, you wanna add more than what's already been added to this packet, you can. But I don't see them amending,
Are the special meetings, are we able to do a special meeting before the council period or no? I mean, it seems like a very simple thing to
It does.
amend is the language thing that it's gonna be the same on all three parcels. I don't wanna waste council's time and say like, oh, we're gonna change it later. I'd rather
Exactly.
present that with language that y'all are comfortable.
Especially if you got our blessings on it.
Correct. I'd rather, yeah.
exactly, so regardless of, it's just a lot easier to reapply and go to a PUD instead of changing verbiage or anything like that before council meeting, a special meeting. This is just an approval.
But-
So if it goes to council and you have that verbiage in there saying that you're not gonna do, those things, ultimately, it could still be passed or denied for that R2.
I guess that's where
Because of the
are you
fear
guys,
of the multifamily.
are you guys I mean, what I'm hearing is, or it might just be me, is that you guys rather do the R2 with the lot with description on it, or do you want the PUD, like Jacob's saying?
I don't,
Because that's where I'm kind of confused. I don't want to make this more complicated than it is.
in my opinion, does the PUD change anything other than,
The PUD is adding what you're talking about right now.
yeah, that would be the simplest
In the
thing.
R2 zone, it doesn't have that in there. We don't have those options to change what the ordinance is already stating.
Right, so
We
in
got
PUD 2 is gonna,
multifamily use words out of it.
That's right.
Everybody would.
Yes.
And
Yes,
that's
you
what
couldn't do
too,
that.
is
Because that would, that also signing you out, or into the development if we eliminate the multifamily use
I
for
think if
it.
multifamily's out of the wording completely, everybody would.
Or-
yeah, you're,
Okay.
in my
Yes,
opinion, that's.
Okay,
Yes.
no, I mean, I wanna make it as easier for council and for y'all to get through this, because it's the very beginning of the process.
But does it mean that it can't happen?
Uh,
We don't know.
Can we,
You're talking about these things, so,
It sounds like they want.
you could try to take it and see what happens. We could try to keep going to council with those things, and see what they say.
I mean, I'd rather go with the special, I mean, if that's the language is what you guys are recommending that, and it seems like a simple reapplication, I'd rather do the special meeting before we go to council, if that's okay with you.
With this, with that PUD, we'd have to, you couldn't because of the zoning and, the notices that we have to send out to everybody again, the signage that we have to put out, we'd have to just start all over, so we couldn't have a special meeting. What we're gonna do.
Well, before the next, let's just do the special meeting so we can go to council. Because if we go to council right now without the planning and zoning commission, I don't think that.
That, or you can just pull out from it entirely and start doing the PUD right away, and try to make it by June's meeting for P and Z, and then make it for a council's meeting in June, if you wanna do it that way. But a special meeting, anything like that, what's conflicting is the time frame that we have we have to do it 16 days before.
Gotcha.
That's what Kel's like, oh, it'll be hard.
Well, I'll coordinate with you tomorrow to see.
But the PUD would have those things that everyone's talking about right now.
I think we have an understanding of what we wanna achieve. I mean, we'll work with the development service to see whichever one of the three options, is
And we
easiest to
And we
get.
did pivot to the PUD and then pivot back to R2, so I mean, we just, it's nice knowing that would be clarifying any, the doubt of it for you.
Like Mr. Antoni said, the idea isn't gonna change, regardless of what it is. The idea is to have those lot sizes and to have the single family homes.
Idea.
Yeah.
However, things happen.
Yeah.
Ideas
The PUD would,
not-
yeah, the PUD would take that part away.
What happens in Floresville.
And then the next meeting, you might still get the same individuals talking to you about it, but you'll be more clarified going, I know there's 200 houses at 4 people per house.
Probably knowing that it's not a multifamily at least.
Yes,
Here,
that's gonna-
some of the concerns, I know there's still stuff that we need to address.
But we cannot tell you it's gonna be 100 or 200 or 500 lots until we know what the zoning is.
That's right, that's what I'm saying. Now that at least we can, and we know, and we are the other way around. We're not gonna grant you special permission.
Correct.
But we don't know if it's gonna be a 800,
Correct.
versus.
No, that's fine, I mean, like I said, the development services, like I've shown kind of the layout that we.
Yes,
tried
we
to
see
do.
you have good intentions, very much. We appreciate your time and your enthusiasm to come to Floresville and even, to help us, help us with our city and grow. We're not gonna,
I think this is a good thing for the city. I mean, you have a street that is completely underutilized.
Yes.
You guys have a park and ride, park that you guys.
But you guys have spent a lot of money on, the trail.
Hardly any people use it. You have a street that takes you directly to downtown, avoids the high traffic at, 181. But you can't connect to it right now because, there's the parcel that we own.
that's
And
correct.
that's exactly what we saw when we bought it. I mean, we saw that the utilities were there or nearby. Obviously, we had to study the capacity, we had to, discuss that with the development service to see if there's water, electricity,
Yes, sir.
sewage, and everything else that everybody's concerned about. I mean, this is so early in the process. We
Yes.
just wanna know, okay, which guideline do we need to follow to?
We're helping you with that.
To try to present to you our plan.
Yes, sir.
And that's basically why we're here. I mean, I understand a lot of the people's concern, and I think there'll be plenty of opportunity to discuss it in open forums. I mean, we're not, and one of the things we're gonna maybe ask the development service, and we're gonna do the research on our own is, this thing with the deed restrictions and whether or not they can be changed. My understanding is they go with the land, but we'll research that and.
I think as long as, let's say today, you said these are the restrictions, a year from now, you still own the land, you can change that deed restriction.
I respectfully disagree, because that's really, I'm not an attorney, but, my understanding is those type of restrictions go with the land.
Yeah, but if you still own the land, you can change it.
That's why I'm saying I disagree with what you're saying, but I'm gonna research it and find out, because my understanding goes with the land, not with the owner.
Huh, okay. I don't, honestly, I'm not sure. Yeah, I mean,
attorney.
but thank you. We all appreciate, yes, it sounds like we're gonna go with the PUD route, that also, it's gonna put a little more on Floresville side, because they've gotta notify and make sure everybody has their days so that they can come. So you might see a bigger crowd, but also maybe more of a crowd that is more, knowledgeable in what's going on, so that you won't be, now it's more about why we're putting what in, and then that might follow up with what you're leading to, and answer a few of these questions have already preliminary, who the
And
developer.
we're, I mean, we understand, because we're not
Yes.
saying anything wrong.
I
about
understand.
I will have the same, we will have the same question, but again, but this is too early in the process
Yes.
for us to be able
Yes.
to answer a lot of the questions you have, because this is just a zoning request,
Yes, sir.
a zoning change request, it's not, hey, we're gonna,
We're gonna build tomorrow.
because you approve it today, we're gonna build this
We
many
understand.
homes and you won't have any say on it. This is, I mean,
We got
this is just the way the process works.
Yes, sir.
Can I just want to commend y'all for being so forthcoming and making, and I would like to recommend that you make yourselves available to your neighbors and let them provide some input to you. We found that with another case, a few months ago, and the person developing the land, he listened to the people, and it made for a much nicer transition. And I think that y'all can achieve that here, if you can talk.
We definitely wanna be.
If there's no other item on the agenda. then
Yeah,
we-
we're gonna adjourn here,
So
and
stay
then,
here.
yeah, if y'all have any questions for them or wanna talk to them, that's the way to start this, but. Okay, so at this time, I'm gonna adjourn the meeting. It is,
We
7.
still got two more items, if you just wanna read through.
Well, okay, so she just, you want to read through them?
She did say A, B, and C.
Okay,
Yeah, that's the whole
I read
reason.
all three.
that's fine, so
Is that okay? The way we did it that way? Okay, so I'm gonna adjourn at 7:07. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.